If you are planning to use a presentational aid to enhance your presentation, designing them is super important. Why? Because they're supposed to enhance the verbal message, not be the verbal message. So you want to plan and prepare and design them well. Let's explore how to design presentational aids. I'm Dr. Heidi, and I'm going to use this presentational aid to enhance my presentation. It came as part of the textbook, A Guide to Public Speaking, 7th edition. It was part of the instructor resources. If I was creating my own presentational aid, I might do it a bit differently, including images on every slide, blank slides in between content slides to act as transitions. I would also minimize the words to 20 words per slide. And of course, though this also does not use them, you also do not want to include transitions, animation, timing, etc. from the PowerPoint program. Those all have purposes, but they really aren't intended for a public speaking situation. As I mentioned, you want to keep the design simple. Follow a 6x6 rule, or as I like to say, a 20-word rule. Limit 6 words per line or 6 lines per slide. Personally, I wouldn't do any more than 20 words, including the title. The audience doesn't need to read the slide. The slide is supposed to enhance the message you are presenting. When using text, you want to use active verb form, using parallel grammatical structure, and make sure to check your writing mechanics. If there's not supposed to be punctuation at the end of a bullet point, don't put it there. If you have spelled words incorrectly, those will distract from your message, not enhance your message. Create concise titles. Long titles just aren't essential. You want a concise title that will tell your viewers what to look for and reinforce your message. You also want to allow plenty of white space, providing visual breathing room. When they say white space, they're not actually talking about the color white. They're talking about leaving extra room so that people's eyes have a chance to breathe. Or, not be so focused on this information that they forget to focus on this information. Use design elements consistently. Follow consistent design decisions for your presentation. Consistency helps prevent distractions. Using consistent design elements is important in each aid. You want to maintain a consistent background, a consistent font, a consistent color. All of these things are important. Make sure that whatever background you choose goes with the font that you choose, the size and the color, so that people can actually read the presentational aid. You want to, of course, like I said, select the appropriate typeface styles and fonts. Typeface is a specific style of lettering. It is available in many fonts and point sizes. If you can make the words a little bit bigger so people in the back of the room can see them, that's key. There are 2 major categories of typeface styles, including serif and sans serif. Small flourishes are included on serif, and more block-like linear is on sans serif. You want to check your lettering for legibility. Take the audience's distance into consideration and avoid using all caps. When you're using all caps, it looks like you're yelling at someone, and it's really hard for listeners to review quickly so they can turn their attention back to you. The lettering should, as I mentioned, stand out from the background, and it should be in an easy-to-read typeface. You want to use standard upper and lowercase type because, like I mentioned, it's easier to read than all capitals, and that's what our brain has been trained to expect. You want to use no more than 2 complementary typefaces throughout the whole presentation. So 1 font for the title, 1 font for the text. on every single slide. Use boldface, underlining, and italics sparingly and only when necessary. Use color carefully. Used effectively, color can set the mood of a presentation and make things easier to see. Poor color choices can set the wrong mood or render images unattractive or unreadable. You want to keep the background color on slides consistent. Do not use a template if you are not going to be able to keep the backgrounds the same throughout. When you use a PowerPoint theme or a Google Slides theme, the design theme usually has a different color slide for the beginning and then different body slides for the rest of the presentation. There is a way where you can copy the slide background and paste it in for every slide. If you don't know how to do this, choose a solid background and go from there. You want to try to use bright, bold colors to emphasize important points. Limit the use to 3 colors, and this means 3 colors for background and font. And consider a universal design. High contrast for background and text colors, and avoid hard to see color combinations. If you're using a blue background, red letters are going to be very difficult to see. Consider the subjective interpretations of color. Yes, color means something to everyone, and different colors mean different things. Colors can evoke distinct associations. If we think about the movie Inside Out, anger is depicted as red. Why? Because red often invokes anger in people. However, that's only in the United States, because red means something completely different in China. You want to avoid summoning unintended meanings or moods and consider context and cultural meanings of colors, as I just mentioned with the color red. This is important when preparing presentational aids. Design is important. If you're going to use a presentational aid, you need to be prepared with the presentational aid, you need to practice with the presentational aid, and use it to enhance your verbal message.